right? Well, a virus, that little pinhead structure, knows how to get inside of a human cell. It gets inside of it. And once it's inside of a human cell, you can give antibiotics, but the antibiotics is floating around in the blood. And it's like, where's the virus? Oh, the virus is inside of the cell. Therefore, antibiotics do not work against viruses. This is why if you have a cold or a flu, notice they don't give you antibiotics. And if you have bronchitis or some bacterial, oh, you have strep throat or whatever, they'll give a person antibiotics because bacteria lives outside of the cell. Viruses live inside of the cell. Hope that's clear. Now, for example, the coronavirus that we're discussing today, it lives inside of the cells of the lung, for example. It infects other tissue, but for our purposes tonight, we'll just hang out with the lungs, right? Because we hear a lot about respiratory issues, okay? So the coronavirus lives inside of the lung cells, and it causes all types of trouble. And one of the things it does is, well, it causes your immune system to just go crazy, and that's where most patients run into trouble. But we'll hold it there for right now. Okay, let's move on to slide number 4. Okay, this is where I want to spend a little time. Now, last week on the presentation, I rushed through it. I didn't want to spend a lot of time, and believe it or not, I'm really close to being done with my presentation today because I want to interact with you. I have just this with the number of deaths and who is actually dying. I believe by now we understand that that is an absolute deadly myth. It has nothing to do with reality. Any of us, every person on this earth, every race on this earth can be infected. And indeed, this is what you're seeing. This is why it's a pandemic, because it's everywhere. Number 2, and for the life of me, I did some looking around. I was like, now, how can a virus get on a cellular network and spread across through 5G? How boy, maybe one of you have an answer. I couldn't find a way. That is absolutely just not true. Okay, not true at all. All right. Number 3, exposing yourself to warm temperatures can prevent viral contraction. You won't get contracted viruses. Now this is interesting because, and I will tell you all this, every week we are learning more about this virus. It's a whole lot we don't know yet on the science side, but we're learning a whole lot more. This is an interesting one because we've already seen some places across the globe that are warm, that are actually, people are just being decimated by this virus, okay? So we know that's not true. However, I want to say this to you. If you remember, we talked about before, this virus can live on surfaces. And for example, with copper, the virus, if it's on the copper surface, if somebody coughs or sneezes and the virus lands on copper, it can live for about 4 hours. When I say live, every time I say a virus can live, I mean it can still infect the person. That's number 1. Number 2, if it lands on plastic or stainless steel, it can live for about 3 days. Now, hot temperature and humidity, what they're showing, just came out last week, they're showing with hot weather, the virus dies sooner than that on surfaces. So on copper, on plastic, on stainless steel, the virus will not make sense. I hope that makes sense. On surfaces, Hot weather makes a difference. The virus won't live as long. In the air and you breathing it in, hot weather, humidity makes no difference. It makes no difference at all. This is why we still must practice. It's in your cabinet for a year, and you turn it around, and this is a label from Lysol can. That you see I circled in, what we see today is a new strain of it. So it's nothing new. We've seen coronaviruses for decades. The one that we are studying right now that's causing the pandemic is a different strain of it. So that's what makes it so dangerous. Common cold, our bodies have seen so many cold viruses. Our immune system knows exactly what to do. So in 3 days and 5 days, you feel better. Oh boy, I had a cold. Now I feel better. Notice that, Heather. But this particular coronavirus that we're dealing with now, this is a new strain. And that's why there's so much trouble. So with all of that, if we go to our last page in our presentation, I would like to reiterate, we must stay safe. There are things we must do. Okay? Number one, wash your hands. Wait a minute now. Let me make sure we understand what that means. When you wash your hands, listen to what I say. If I turn the water on, soap your hands. Lather, lather, lather. The running water is over there. Don't go back there. We have people in many walks of life, food, prep, everything. And we thank God for you all. We have people who are truck drivers and all. So we thank God for you all, and we're praying for you all. But if you can, you stay at home. If you can't, you must practice these things to keep yourself safe. Number three, I have a cartoon of a person wearing a mask. Now, if you're wearing a mask, I want you to think two things. I want you to do this. You're going to play a game every time you put a mask on. This is what you're going to do. You are going to act as if you have coronavirus. You're going to act as if everybody else around you have coronavirus. You're going to put that mask on and you're going to say, I'm going to prevent myself from giving anyone corona. And then you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to prevent everyone else from giving me corona. I hope that makes sense. That's the purpose of wearing a mask. And the reason why that is true, right now the data shows 20 to 50% of the people who have coronavirus don't have symptoms. They don't even know they have them. They don't even know they have it. And yet, they can infect you and they feel just fine. So there's a lot of people walking around with this virus who have no idea that they have it. The last part of this slide I want to show you, again, I showed this last week. If a person sneezes or coughs, now this particular coronavirus is known to be very infectious. Just me talking right here. If I had corona and my wife is just sitting over here, just me having a conversation is putting enough of the virus in the air. I don't have to cough. I don't have to sneeze. Just talk. Just talk. You heard about that choir rehearsal where people were singing and someone was singing the virus over all these people. Many walked away positive. So just me coughing, sneezing. If you look at the diagram here, you'll see where Ebola travels about 3 feet. Ebola, you never want to run into that virus. That one is deadly. And you'll also see where measles travels about 6 feet by a cough or a sneeze. It has been shown that the Ebola virus can travel over 20 feet in a cough or a sneeze. Okay? So you want to be very, very careful. Wash your hands. Stay home if you can. Wear your mask. And be very careful out there. Okay? That's all I had in terms of my presentation. Took a little longer than I thought. It took 20 minutes. But I hope that was very informative. We're going to get deeper as we go into the next parts of the series, okay? But from this point, we're going to see what questions we have from the audience. Sister Tanya?
Okay, the first question is, can you explain how long a virus can stay on the surface?
About 3 days, the virus can still infect, okay?
Okay, do you recommend wearing a mask all summer?
Do I recommend wearing a mask all summer? You want to wear a mask until this is handled over with. When we get to the last part of the series where we talk about treatment, tracing, and all of that, we will go a little bit more to that. But you want to wear a mask until this pandemic is over because, look, honestly, again, 20 to 50% of the people who actually have the virus. Remember, we hear about all these numbers about how many cases are positive, right? Clearly, 20 to 50% of the people walking around here, obviously we all on here have access to the internet. There are actually really, really, really good instructions out there how to build homemade masks now. So, and they will tell you the material to build them from. So it's a lot different permutations and different variations. I won't spend time here, but there are different things online. So, but for those who have access to, let's not take up the N95 mask. Let's leave that for the medical professionals, the fire and all of those people who can do. But surgical masks, the ones that are made out of the correct cloth, there are instructions on the internet now as to how to do that. Really good stuff out there to do that.
Can you just let people know where your presentation that you were referring to, where they can find it?
Oh, the presentation that I was referring to, I'm so sorry that everybody didn't pull it up. It is actually attached to this Facebook Live page. It's actually attached to it. Sister Celia put it up there for me, so you should be able to find it there.
Okay. Are wearing gloves effective or not, like for grocery shopping, etc.?
Yeah, especially are wearing gloves effective? Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is I have some gloves in my wife's glove compartment. I have some gloves in my glove compartment of the car. So if I'm going to pump gas, for example, I'm going to open the glove compartment. I'm going to put a glove on. I'm going to handle my I just put one on because that's the one I handle everything with. My credit card in the naked hand, I'll slide it in and put it back in our pocket. And my gloved hand, I handle everything else with that one. ATMs and all of that, absolutely. If you feel like you need them in a grocery store, absolutely wear them in a grocery store. And don't let anybody make you feel funny about it either. That's your life you're protecting.
Can you talk about cross contamination?
Okay. When I don't know who asked that question, I don't know station, and I'll put everything in. I'll pick up the pump that a couple hundred people up, and I pay for the food. Take out my dig in my pocket with my protected gloves on. Pull out my credit card, pay, and uh, on and on. What am I doing? I'm taking germs from the gas station, then I put them on my steering wheel, and I touch the gloves onto all the food that I'm taking home, taking the food to my house, and I left a trail of cross contamination. So how should you do it? When you go someplace, you use a glove. I go to the gas station pump, take the glove off, put it in the garbage, not in your pocket, and you keep your steering wheel clear, and you don't cross contaminate. Don't take germs place to place to place. I assume that's what a person. That's just one example.
Okay. Does bleach kill viruses?
Does bleach kill viruses? Yes, bleach, Lysol, all that stuff does kill viruses. This particular virus, coronavirus, it has the outside of it is protein, and the little crowns of it, that's protein, and just beneath the surface of it, it has a layer of fat. This is why alcohol, bleach, and everything else disrupts it and kills it because it has that layer of fat and that gets all blown up and the virus just falls apart. Absolutely.
Which which form of testing? Where to go? Which form of testing is most accurate?
Which form of testing? I assume you're talking about. There's two. Let me just categorize them really quickly here because if you all want me to stay on maybe 5 minutes longer to 6:35, send Sister Tanya a note. Let me say this. There are two types of testing. There is one test that's going to say, do you have a COVID-19 infection right now today? That is what they do, and they stick that swab up your nose and then they send it somewhere. Well, what they're doing is testing for the gene of the virus. Is the DNA for the virus there? If they find it, they'll go, yep, you're positive, you have an active case. That's number one. So that's the people who get treated and make sure you're okay. After you have recovered from the virus and all, the second type of testing is we've never seen you before, patient X. We wonder if you've ever had coronavirus before, if you've had COVID-19. Then there's antibody test. That's the second type. I need to test to see, have you been exposed to the virus and your immune system has made antibodies? That's the second type of test. This is an important test because this is the one that everybody's talking about now that's going to, be able to test people and say, do you have antibodies? Okay, you can go to work. You have antibodies? Okay, you can go to work. You should, this is what we're trying to study now. Do you have good immunity? And if you have immunity, meaning you have antibodies, how long do you have immunity? Because in some cases, immunity does not last. You actually know this. Those who've gotten the measles shot before years ago, then they'll come and say, hey, you need a booster shot. What is that? That's because your first vaccine didn't last long and the amount of antibodies go down in the case of COVID-19. Two, you test for antibodies. Did you have a case of COVID-19? You can make them though, and the best thing to do, again, on the internet, there are a lot of great instructive videos showing how to make masks. And the second part of that question was,
can you get it more than once?
Can you get so this virus, we're learning a lot about, can you get the genes of it, right? They go, well, this seems like the same one they had before. What seems to be happening is the virus, your immune system knocks it down, and then something happens with the person's body, and the virus gets reactivated, it's called, and then it bounces back.
I'll do two questions. Mm-hmm. If you build your immune system, can you still get coronavirus?
There are a lot of healthy people, but I will say this. I'm glad whoever that was that asked that question, I'm glad you asked. I will say this. For all of us on this call, at the end of this, at the end of the series, when under one of the ones where I said it's going to, what are our responsibilities? I believe that is session number 3, what we need to do. This should drive us to take much better care of ourselves. We have got to address high blood pressure, diabetes, all these underlying things. We have got to address them as people. We got to get real with ourselves, okay? And that means, but there's some things that are working against us. We'll talk about that because we got to talk about the enemy in order to get over it, okay? So there's some things we can do, and there's some things that have been done to us that we got to call it out so that we can address them. Lysol towel or something, wiping your groceries off because people may have touched it, picked it up. That could be the major part of our diet. But I'm telling you, absolutely, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, um, all these other, factors that can lead to issues. Guess what? The virus is saying respiratory, I'm not mentioning respiratory issues, asthma and all. The virus is getting in people with these underlying issues, and it's like, oh, they're already compromised. Now, if I hit them hard, the virus is not saying this, of course, but what happens is if you get hit hard, your chances of recovery really take a toll. So yeah, eating right means almost everything. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay. They're asking if you can please stay on so they can hear the answers to these questions.
So you all want me to stay on a little longer? Send a couple yeses to be sure to Sister Tanya.
Okay. Meanwhile,
I don't want to go. Okay, this is what I'll agree to this. I will not, Lord willing, go past 6:40. Okay, I'll stay on to 6:40, and then I'll stop. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. There's a question. Does ammonia kill the virus?
Yeah, does ammonia kill the virus? Of course it does, because the virus, again, is actually pretty fragile. So yeah, all those types of cleaners can. However, you don't need to be as rough as ammonia. Again, if you use bleach, a very dilute bleach solution, use 70% alcohol, use your Lysol wipes, your Lysol sprays, and all of that kills the virus. But with ammonia, you want to be careful, because if you have respiratory issue, it won't be your friend. So be very careful. And please, let me say this, do not mix bleach and ammonia. If you look at the chemistries of those two things, you'll know what I'm saying. For you, I'll just say it'll produce a gas that will land you in the hospital next to somebody with COVID, okay? All right.
Okay. Have you heard about a saltwater citrus rind treatment? You boil the water and breathe in the steam, which is supposed to kill the virus. Also, gargling the salt water.
Thank you.
Is it medically sound?
Boiling water, breathing it in, and all of that stuff, gargling with salt water, all of those are nice to do for your general health. You may want to keep your throat clear or keep your nasal passages clear. Those who have seasonal allergies, you may want to keep your nose passages clear and it actually flushes the allergens out and all of that stuff. For the purposes of this virus, it does nothing to prevent it. Again, boiling water, salt water, citrus water, apple water, strawberry water, whatever type of water you want to do, it does not. I don't want you to endanger yourself with thinking I'm preventing anything. It will not prevent. And if somebody sneezes and they're positive, and you inhale all of that after you breathe all that water in, and if the condition, not to say you'll get it automatically, but if the conditions are right, you can come down with this virus. So none of those things. This is why you wear your mask and your gloves.
Okay. Do you have an idea of how long all this testing will take, and should we continue to practice social distancing until it is all confirmed?
How long will all the testing take? I believe you mean like for the population. We may never finish testing the population. But the other part of the question was, should we continue to practice social distancing? Yes, we should. Social distancing, your gloves, your masks, absolutely. Even after they. So now, if you tag on to that, the first part of that question though was,
do you know how long?
Yeah, how long the testing? Let me get back to that. The testing, companies like mine and big companies, we're producing a lot of testing, and it's millions. The capacity is going to be millions per week, but the way it's going with the government, I just don't see them getting to everyone. So When we get to part 4, I don't want to give all the answers away today because you need to come back. Testing, tracking, treatment, vaccines, we'll give you a little bit more information on that. But until then, social distancing, being very careful. And then I believe you added something else to that.
Even when they open up.
So the slow opening of thing, a re-uptick of infections. Then you have to bring it back down. I'll be honest with you all. There's really one way that we're going to be all the way safe again, and that is absolutely you're going to have to come back before I give you that answer. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Well, I got 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, should we get the flu shot?
Should you get the flu shot? That's totally up to you. I'll leave it there. That was an easy one. Yeah, that was an easy one. 640.
And what about the cloth mask?
Yeah, the cloth masks, again, yeah, they're good. I tell you what, go to the internet, get your instructions on how to build a mask, and you all will see. Okay?
I'm sorry, I got some questions on my via text, and we'll have to get to them next
Okay,
time.
so some people sent Sister Tanya some questions via text. We're going to have to do that next time. Love everybody. God bless you.
All right. Well, God bless everyone that was listening. We had a little bit of difficulties,
Okay?
but
So you want to be very, very careful. Wash your hands. Stay home if you can. Wear your mask. And be very careful out there. Okay? That's all I had in terms of my presentation. Took a little longer than I thought. It took 20 minutes. But I hope that was very informative. We're going to get deeper as we go into the next parts of the series, okay? But from this point, we're going to see what questions we have from the audience. Sister Tanya?
Okay, the first question is, can you explain how
that's
long
just a repeat.
A virus can stay on the surface?
Can I explain how long a virus can stay on the surface? For those who may have gotten on late, I went over that. It was, if you look at different surfaces, it's different times, right? So, for example, the studies show on copper, about 4 hours, the virus can still infect. On plastic and stainless steel, about 3 days, the virus can still infect. Okay?
Okay, do you recommend wearing a mask all summer?
Do I recommend wearing a mask all summer? You want to wear a mask until this is handled over with. When we get to the last part of the series where we talk about treatment, tracing, and all of that, we will go a little bit more to that. But you want to wear a mask until this pandemic is over because, look, honestly, again, 20 to 50% of the people who actually have the virus. Remember, we hear about all these numbers about how many cases are positive, right? So I think let's say let's say Illinois had 30,000 people positive, right? Remember, that's only the people we've tested. We actually don't know how many people are positive because we're not testing everyone. But of everybody who's positive, clearly 20 to 50% of the people walking around here who've never been tested, they feel fine. They're still going around.
all right, that concludes the update on the coronavirus. Hey, we kind of ran into a few little difficulties, but hopefully next week, amen, when we give this update again, we will have conquered those areas where we were technically challenged, okay? All right. But in the meantime, we got a few more minutes. If you all want to listen to some good music, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put a little bit on it, and bless your soul. All right. Bear with me just a little bit here as my PowerPoint comes up. All right. Here we go.
Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. In case you have fallen by the wayside of life, dreams and visions shattered, you're all broken inside. You don't have to stay in the shape that you're in. The potter wants to put you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. In case your situation has turned upside down, and all that you've accomplished is now on the ground. You don't have to stay in the shape that you're in. The potter wants to put you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. You who are you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. Ooh, in the potter's house there is joy. Joy. Unspeakable. In the potter's house you find peace. In the potter's house, and there is love, love, love. In the potter's put you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. Amen.
I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Who serve the Lord? I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know.
Sorry about that, but for those who are interested, what we're going to do, since I got some time on my hand and my songs can run independently, I'm going to play about an hour's worth of music so you all can enjoy it. May God bless you. Let's do this again. Praise the Lord.
Won't you sign me up? Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write down my name. Write my name. Write it on the roll. For I've been changed. I've been changed. Since the Lord has lifted me. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write down my name. Write my name. Write it on the roll. For I've been changed. I've been changed since the Lord has lifted me. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. When Jesus comes. When Jesus comes. Oh, the trumpet will sound aloud when he comes. When Jesus comes. Oh, the dead in Christ shall arise. Well, my heart is fixed and my mind is made up. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. So sign me up. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write down my name. Write my name. Write it on the roll. I've been changed. I've been changed since the Lord has lifted me. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. When Jesus comes. When Jesus comes. Oh, the trumpet will sound aloud when he comes. When Jesus comes. Oh, the dead in Christ shall arise. Well, my heart is fixed and my mind is made up. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. Well, don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound? Oh, you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land where I'm bound? There's nothing but love in that land, nothing but love in that land, nothing but love in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Nothing but love in that land, nothing but love in that land, nothing but love in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. So sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write down my name. Write my name. Put it on the roll. For I've been changed. I've been changed since the Lord has lifted me. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. I want to be ready, ready when Jesus comes. closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord. I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord.
King Darius made a decree. There won't be no praying round here. Whosoever calls on any God's name will be cast into the lion's den. Daniel didn't pay the king no attention. 3 times a day he prayed to God anyway. When confronted with the consequences of the lion's den, I can hear old Daniel say, I don't
have a closet religion.
And
I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord.
All night, Daniel stayed in the lion's den. In the morning, to the king's surprise, God sent his angels to shut the lion's jaw, and Daniel was still alive. Daniel used a lion for a mattress and a pillow. The angel rocked Daniel to sleep. When he got up, Daniel let everybody know, I'm not ashamed of the God I serve.
I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord.
All night, Daniel stayed in the lion's den. In the morning, to the king's surprise, God sent his angels to shut the lion's jaw, and Daniel was still alive. Daniel used a lion for a mattress and a pillow. The angel rocked Daniel to sleep. When he got up, Daniel let everybody know, I'm not ashamed of the God I serve.
I don't have a closet religion. I can't hide the God I serve. I've got to let the world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord. I don't have a closet religion. I don't have a closet religion. I don't have a closet religion. I don't have a closet religion.
I've got to let
The world know. Wherever I go, I've got to praise and serve the Lord. Ooh, serve the Lord.
He's almighty, well, he can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things. That's because he can do anything. Oh, he can make bad things, good things, wrong things, right things. He's almighty, he can make a way where there's no way. He can make the sun shine on a cloudy day. If you're sad, he'll help you smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God. Well, Job was right in the Almighty's sight. Well, that made Satan unhappy there. He challenged God, and God took the dare.
Job lost his children, animals, his friendships, his health, but he didn't lose that untouchable wealth.
So Satan was embarrassed, and God
succeed even when you're trying.
Oh, he can make big things small, hard things easy. He's almighty. Oh, he can make bad things good, wrong things right. He's almighty. He can make a way. He can make the sun shine on a cloudy day.
If you're sad, he'll help you.
Smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God.
Those young Hebrew men, they done it again. The king said bow, but they said no, because it's better to obey God Almighty, you know.
Well, the king got mad, but he would learn that if God doesn't want it, your fire won't burn.
When they stepped out of the flames, they were looking real good.
'Cause he can make you a hero, whenever God could. Oh, he can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things. That's because he can do anything. He can make bad things good, wrong things right. He's almighty. He can make a way where there is no way. He can make the sun shine on a cloudy day. And if you're sad, he'll help you. Smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God. Fishermen and publicans and tent makers and physicians and combinations hard to understand.
But when those folks come into the town, in no time at all the world is upside down.
When you follow Christ, it doesn't matter where you came.
'Cause he can make very different.
He's almighty. Oh, he can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things.
He's almighty.
He can make bad things good, things wrong, things right, things.
He's almighty. He can make a way
where there is no way.
and he can make the sun shine
On a cloudy day.
If you're sad, he'll help you.
Smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God. Fishermen and publicans and tent makers and physicians and combinations hard to understand.
But when those folks come into the town, in no time at all the world is upside down.
When you follow Christ, it doesn't matter where you came.
And he can make very
He's
different.
almighty. Oh, he can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things. He's almighty. He can make bad things good, things wrong, things right, things.
He's almighty.
He can do anything.
He can make no way
Where there is no way.
and he can make the sun shine
On a cloudy day.
If you're sad, he'll help you.
Smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God.
Things were shady back in 1980. From the streets of San Francisco, God chose himself a man who could help him break a silence that had gotten out of hand.
Some people didn't like it or they thought it was insane, but the drug addicted one became our own apostle lane.
Now restoration's moving and it's moving right ahead.
Who can take away your sin and give the holiness instead? He can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things. He's almighty. Yes, he can make bad things good, things wrong, things right, things. He's almighty. He can make a way where there is no way. He can make the sun shine on a cloudy day. If you're sad, he'll help you. Smile anyway. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God.
Those young Hebrew men, they done it again. The king said bow, but they said no, because it's better to obey God Almighty, you know.
Well, the king got mad, but he would learn that if God doesn't want it, your fire won't burn.
When they stepped out of the flames, they were looking real good.
He can make you a hero, whenever God could. Almighty God, Almighty God.
Things were shady back in 1980. From the streets of San Francisco, God chose himself a man who could help him break a silence that had gotten out of hand.
Some people didn't like it or they thought it was insane, but the drug addicted one became our own Apostle Lane.
Now restoration's booming and it's moving right ahead.
God can take away your sin and righteousness instead. Oh, he can make big things, small things, hard things, easy things. That's Almighty. Oh, he can make bad things, good things, wrong things, right things. That's because he can.
He can make a way, and he can make the sun shine.
On a cloudy day,
if you're sad, he'll help you.
find any way. We serve the Almighty God, Almighty God.
If it had not been for the Lord on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? And if it had not been for the Lord and he was on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? He kept my enemies away. He let the sun shine through a cloudy day. He rocked me in the cradle of his arms when he knew I went battered and scarred. So if it had not been for the Lord, said he was on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? He never left me all alone. He gave me peace and joy I never known. He met me when I knelt down to pray, and in pity the Lord brought me this way. So if it had not been for the Lord, said he was on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? One more time. He never left me all alone. He gave me peace and joy I've never known. He met me when I knelt down to pray, and in pity the Lord brought me this way. So if it had not been for the Lord, said he was on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? Said if it had not been for the Lord on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? One more time. And if it had not been for the Lord, said he was on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? Amen. Thank the Lord. Have you heard the sound of the trumpet blow, letting the nations around us know that there's just one church, just one fold? Voices clear, sing out the acclamation, let it swell through the door when we possess the new birth. Let the people hearken to the declaration and receive salvation. Go ye angels, proclaim the message far and near. Let the nations hear. Let the message spread to distant borders, breaking light upon the darkened minds, making human-made religion crumble as the true light shines. Now the Spirit of the Lord is working. See the glory of the Prince of Peace. Though the world is cold and barren, God's prepared a feast. The welcome is extended. In Babel, do not stay. Heed the message divine and come out of her today. There is just one body, let the nations hear it. One fold, one spirit, one family in heaven and earth. One church, we enter through the door when we possess the new birth. Let the people hearken to the declaration and receive salvation. Go ye angels, proclaim the message far and near. Let the nations hear. As it was back in the days of Noah, it's the same again in this end time. Even now there is a glorious gathering to the ark divine. Start the marching while the door is open, from the mountains and the valley low. Every new and blood-washed creature, this is your true hope. The door will soon be closing. Come ye that love the Lord. There is plenty of room, so hurry and get aboard, aboard, aboard. There is just one body, let the nations hear it. One fold, one spirit, one family in heaven and earth. One church, we enter through the door when we possess the new birth. Let the people hearken to the declaration and receive salvation. Go ye angels, proclaim the message far and near. Let the nations hear, let the nations. There is just one body, let the nations hear it. One fold, one spirit, one family in heaven and earth. One church, we enter through the door when we possess the new birth. Let the people hearken to the declaration and receive salvation. Go ye angels, proclaim the message far and near. Let the nations hear.
This may spark a controversy when we say there's just one church divine that God has built, and we say we're that one. For Jesus has no Lutheran arms, as some folks might suppose. He has no Southern Baptist legs or Pentecostal toes. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll bake you an apple pie. If you can prove that there's more than one, then a needle can wink its eye. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll pay you $1,000 sometime in nickels and dimes. If you can show by solid facts and prove it true somehow, then I'll show you that chocolate milk is made by chocolate cows. I'll prove beyond the doubting minds that Elvis is alive. I'll show the smartest man in town that 2 + 2 is 5. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll bake you an apple pie. If you can prove that there's more than one, then a needle can wink its eye. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll pay you $1,000 sometime. Whoa, in nickels and dimes. Come on, y'all. There's more than one, I'll bake you an apple pie. If you can prove that there's more than one, then a needle can wink his eye. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll pay you $1,000 sometime. In nickels and dimes. Lord, help us not to deviate from this eternal fact and turn to fables, go and climb the beanstalk with old Jack. For God has built one single church way, way back in the day, and it's not vanished from the earth, 'cause it's still here today. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll bake you an apple pie. If you can prove that there's more than one, then a needle can wink his eye. If you can prove that there's more than one, I'll pay you $1,000 sometime. And whoa, in nickels and dimes.
I am on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I am on the battlefield for my Lord. And I cry
I was alone and idle, and I was a sinner too. And I heard a voice from heaven, and I knew what I had to do. I took the master's hand, and then I joined the Christian band. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Thank God I am on the battlefield for my Lord. And I promised him that my Lord will serve you till I die. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. So I left my friends and kindred, bound for the promised land. The grace of God upon me, and the Bible in my hand. In distant lands I trod, I'm crying, sinner, come to God. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. I am on the battlefield for my Lord. Yes, Lord, I am on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I promised him that my God, I'll serve you till I die. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. And now when I met the Savior, I met him with a smile. He healed my wounded spirit, and he told me as his child, around the throne of grace, when he appoints my soul a place. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Singing, I am on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I promised him that yes, Lord, I'll serve you till I die. 'Cause I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Now I'm fighting for the kingdom, and the battle's almost won, and the trumpet will be sounding for the coming of the Son. And I'll lay my armor down, I'll pick up my robe and crown. Oh, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Help me sing it on the battlefield for my Lord. Well, I promised him that yes, Lord, I'll serve you till I die. 'Cause I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. And I promised him that I would serve him till I die. I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Amen. Amen.
The Lord of my life, He has never failed. On my own, I could not succeed. This one I've come to know. There's so much that I owe, and I cannot fail the Lord.
trusted in myself. Now I know I need His help, and I cannot fail the Lord, and I cannot fail the Lord. No, I cannot fail the Lord. He has never failed me yet. Every problem He has met, and I cannot fail the Lord. The Lord of my life, He has never failed. On my own, I could never succeed. This one I've come to know. There's so much that I owe, and I cannot fail the Lord, and I cannot fail the Lord. No, no, I never fail the Lord. He has never failed me yet. Every problem He has met, and I cannot fail the Lord, and I cannot fail the Lord. No, 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 I cannot, I will not fail the Lord. He has never failed me yet, and every promise He has kept, and I cannot fail the Lord. He has never failed me yet. Every promise He has kept, and I cannot fail the Lord.
Say by His grace, I know I'll make it home someday. Oh, His yoke is easy. Oh, yes. His burdens are light. And if I walk where He leads me, I know I'll always be right. I'm going to cherish Him, running with Him, running with Him, by His grace, I'll make it home someday.
sufficient for me. Grace, grace, God's grace, His grace will give you the victory. Grace woke me up this morning. Grace started me on my way. Grace triumphs me over my enemies. Know that grace has given me the victory. Grace brought me through hard trials. Grace gave me courage to stand. Grace comforts me when I am weary. And I know that grace has given me the victory. Oh, His yoke is easy. His yoke is easy. Oh, His yoke is easy. Burdens are light. Burdens are light. Walk where He leads me. Walk where He leads me. Always be right. Always be right. To cherish His grace. Cherish His grace. Running with Him. Running this running with Him. And by His grace, I know I'll make it. I'll make it home someday. Grace brought me through hard trials. Grace gave me courage to stand. Grace comforts me when I am weary. And I know that grace has given me the victory. Oh, His yoke is easy. His yoke is easy. His yoke is easy. Burdens are light. Burdens are light. Walk where He leads me. Walk where He leads me. Always be right. Always be right. Cherish His grace. Cherish His grace. Running with Him. Running with Him. And by His grace, I know I'll make it. I'll make it home
Oh, Jesus, He gave me water. Oh, Jesus, He gave me water. Jesus gave me water. I want to let His praises swell. Oh, Jesus gave me water. Oh, yes, He gave me water. Jesus gave me water. And it was not in the well. There was a woman from Samaria, came to the well to get some water. There she met a stranger who did a story tell. Pick it up. Now the woman dropped a pitcher. She drank and was made richer from the water He gave her, and it was not in the well. Oh, Jesus, He gave me water. Oh, Jesus gave me water. Jesus gave me water. I want to let His praises swell. Oh, same old road for miles and miles.
If you've been hearing the same old voice tell the same old lies,
trying to fill the same old holes inside, there's a better life. There's a better life. If you've got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you've got chains, he's the chain breaker. Yes, he is. We've all searched for the light of day in the dead of night.
we've all found ourselves worn out from the same old fight.
We've all run to things we know just ain't right. There's a better life.
There's a better life.
If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. Have you been walking the same old road for miles and miles?
If you've been hearing the same old voice tell the same old lies,
you're trying to fill the same old holes inside.
there's a better life.
There's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. That's my God. We've all searched for the light of day in the dead of night.
We've all found ourselves worn out from the same old fight.
We've all run to things we know just ain't right. There's a better life.
There's a better life.
If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you've got chains, he's a chain breaker. If you got pain,
He's a pain taker.
if you feel lost,
He's a way maker.
if you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you've got chains, he's a chain breaker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you've got chains, he's a chain breaker.
He is able to carry you through. Well, surely, 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 surely. to carry you through. Well, surely, 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 He's able to carry. He is able to carry you through. As pilgrims here, we always journey. We often know not which way to turn, but there is one. He'll help us carry, He'll help us carry our heavy load. Don't you know God is able? He's able. 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 Clouds may gather above you. So dark and sable. He was Daniel's stone rolling. Oh yes. He sees your wheel turning. Oh yes. He was Moses, bush burning. Oh yes. He was Solomon's rose of Sharon. Oh yes. He was Joshua's mighty battle axe. Oh yes. Oh surely, 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 He's able to carry. He is able to carry you through. Don't you know God is able? He's able. 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 Clouds may gather around you. So dark and sable. He's a friend when you're friendless. Oh yes. He's a mother for the motherless. Oh yes. And a father for the fatherless. Oh yes. He is joy when you're in sorrow. Oh yes. And He's hope for tomorrow. Oh yes. When you come down to the river. Oh yes. He'll be right there to bear your burden. Oh yes. He's gonna step down before you. Oh yes. In the judgment, He's gonna know you. Oh yes. Oh surely, 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 He's able to carry you. He is able to carry you through. needed to rescue all the lost. His blood was paid a ransom to set the captives free. I know that I can do it. He will remember me. Oh, will the Lord remember me when I second will be a change from here to there. There'll be no grief, no pain. Perfect peace and joy shall reign. Hope at last I shall proclaim. But here I am. Sing, here I am. Here I am. I'm the one, the shepherd left the fold and found. Oh, there were 99, but he left them just to find one little lost lamb, and here I am. There were 99, but he left them just to find one little lost lamb.
He was searching for.
One little lost lamb.
He found out.
One little lost lamb. And here I am. Oh, here I am. Here I am. I'm the one, the shepherd left the fold and found. My God, it was 99, but he left them just to find one little lost lamb, and here I am. There were 99, but he left them just to find one little lost lamb.
He was searching for.
One little lost lamb.
He found out.
One little lost lamb. And here I
Where do I go when there's nobody else to turn to? Who do I talk to?